All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm Nabila Mulyawati from the English Department of Universitas Gadjah Mada. Here in this video, I would like to explain about the result of a research that my colleagues and I have conducted collaboratively. My colleagues are Mr. Hashim Kurniawan and also Mrs. Riorini Diah Mukardi, but due to some reasons, I will be the only one who explain the results to you. The title of our research is Revisiting the Status of English in Outer and Expanding Circles. First of all, we will go to the background. Our research falls in the field of linguistic landscape. What is linguistic landscape? Landry and Boris define linguistic landscape as the language of public road signs, advertising billboards, street names, place names, commercial shop signs, and public signs on government buildings of a given territory. So basically, the linguistic landscape deals with how a language is used in its written form in the public sphere or in public places. The focus of our research will be on the commercial signboards on shopping streets. But which sphere or which area will we focus on? We use the categorization of English area that is proposed by Kakru in 1986. So basically, he proposed that there are at least 3 concentric circles that can explain the various positions of English around the world. The first circle is the inner circle. This is the innermost part, and we also call it as the norm-providing. It refers to the countries in which English is spoken as mother language, or L1. For example, in countries such as Canada and then Australia, America, and the Great Britain. What it means by norm-providing is that in these countries basically are the native speakers of English, and from these countries, all other countries learn the rules of English itself. So they, provide the set of rules for English learners. And then the outer circle, or we can call it as norm-developing, it encompasses countries where English is used as the second language for most people and also has important roles in their nations. For example, due to the historical or political reasons. What it means by historical reasons is, for example, in the past, the country encountered native English-speaking countries or were colonialized by the inner circle countries. And what it means by norm-developing is that the English that is used in the circle is a bit different from the inner circle because the people already, put some characteristics of their own language or their own purpose into the language. So the language itself is kind of differs from the English in the inner circle. The next one is the expanding circle or norm-dependent. This is where English is extensively studied as a foreign language. So these countries, the countries in the expanding circles are the countries that learn English as the foreign language in the educational sectors, for example. And they are also called as norm-dependent. So basically they depend, the English that they speak, the English that they use depend on the English of the inner circle. So the inner circle is like the standard for the expanding circle countries. What we will do in this research is compare the English used in the outer circle countries and also the expanding circle countries. So we try to see how English is used and then what is the function of English in the commercial sectors, commercial signboards in those 2 circles, and is there any, for example, implication of English, of language policy in the English of the 2 countries, of the 2 circles. So which countries do we choose? For outer circle countries, we choose, for its circle, we choose 2 countries. For outer circle, it will be represented by Malaysia and the Philippines. For the expanding expanding circle countries, we choose Thailand and Indonesia. For each country, we choose 1 shopping street, and those shopping streets have kind of similar length and also are very crowded with tourists. So they are like, the most crowded shopping streets in each country. Okay. So what are the research questions? Here are our research questions. The first one is, to what extent is English used in the commercial shop? On the commercial shop signs and billboards in those areas. The second one, what is the function of English words on the signs and billboards? The third one, what is the implication of the prevailing language policy toward the use of English in each area? And the third one, how does the use of English on the signs and billboards reflect the status of the language in the respective streets? Here are our data collection and analysis. For the data, we choose any text in whatever language in the commercial shop signs and billboards of the 4 streets. They are clearly visible from our Google Street View. Here, the example of our unit data. And how do we collect them? We use Google Street Views and we screen capture the pictures and then store the text as corpus data. For the data analysis, we combine quantitative and qualitative analysis. The first one is by looking at the language composition. For the quantitative, monolingual, bilingual, or multilingual. And we also look at the 3 different categories of billboard parts: the name, common and proper names, information about product and service, and slogan. When English is mostly used in the common and also the information about product and service, we assume that the makers want to communicate, use English as a means of communication with a wider community. While if it is used in the proper names or the names of the brand, for example, and the slogan, then it means, we assume that the makers might want to, modernize their products and attract more consumers. We also look at the structure, style, and function of English words and the possible correlation with the prevailing language policy in the given area. Next, results and discussions. This graph shows the occurrences of English compared to other languages in the overall signboards in the given street. Because outer circle is more familiar with English than the expanding circle, then we assume that the occurrences of English in the outer circle is higher than that in the expanding circle. However, we can see here that the Kaohsiung, Legian, and Kallang have similarly high occurrences of English compared to Petaling. The reason for this low salience of English in Petaling is that most signboards in this street use 2 or 3 languages to convey the same information. So it's like there is always a combination of 3 languages in most of the signboards in Petaling. That's why English only counts as around 37.70%. Those languages, for example, are Chinese and Malaysia and Indian. Meanwhile, in Kallang, English is mostly used as the only language. Here is the example of signboards in Malaysia. You can see here that one signboard can use 3 languages here, the English and then Chinese and Here it's Malaysian or Malaysian and English. So there is always a combination of more than one languages. While in the Philippines, mostly they use English, but sometimes you can also see like Filipinos languages being code mixed with English. Now let's continue to this one. This is the combination of languages in its street signboards. English becomes is most often used monolingually or in combination with other language. For example, in Kaohsiung, the biggest English is often used monolingually or in combination with Thai. Or in Collins Street, it is kind of similar. English is the highest in Legian as well, but in Petaling, we see here that the biggest combination is between Malay and English, while the signboards they only use English is kind of relatively lower. The results show that in Kaohsiung and Collins Streets, the frequency of English in proper name is higher compared to those in Legian, which accounts for less than 60%, and in Petaling, where non-English words were used more frequently than English. Meanwhile, for the common name, besides Petaling Street, on which English was used under 35% here, the occurrence of English words in the three streets were more than 80%. Next, in the information about product and services and slogan. A similar pattern of English appearance is seen in the information about product and service. The highest occurrence of English is in the signboard of Legian here with 91%, followed by Kaohsiung and also Kallang. And the lowest one is in Petaling with only 41.90%. For slogan, except for Legian Street, there seems to be only slight English frequency difference in slogan part among the four streets. In Legian, this is the highest. English is the highest used with more than 91%, while the others are around 60%. We can see from the data that despite being put in the same outer circle category, Kallang and Petaling show different frequency of English occurrences, where Kallang displays higher occurrences of English compared to Petaling, that is almost twice as much. This difference probably can be attributed or explained by at least two reasons. The first one is that there is a resistance by Malaysian government towards the extensive use of English through the enforcement of laws concerning how languages in the advertising sector should be used. So they try to repress English and to resist English and try to encourage the use of the national language. Meanwhile, in Kallang, such resistance is less apparent. And the second reason is maybe because there is a different attitude toward English from the two countries. In Malaysia, for example, English is seen as a competitor toward other minority languages, and there has been a movement from speakers of minority languages to encourage the use of their languages instead of English. So they try to gain a ground for their language, and English is seen as a competitor here. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, where there is a conflict of language between which language should be used as the national language, English is seen as a solution to the conflict. So they try to use English to bridge or to give solution towards the conflict. That's why there is a difference between the two. Nevertheless, both streets demonstrate a strong preference for using English on signboards. The next one, in the expanding circle, as we know that the populations in the expanding circle, they don't have the proficiency of English is relatively low. However, from the signboards, we can see the English is heavily incorporated. Here are the examples. The use of English on Kaosan is very practical because the English words are very dominant in the common names and detailed information. So we can assume that this use is more of a means of communication that is directed towards the foreigners. One of the characteristics of outer circle is that the speakers usually develop a distinct variety of English, which like combine the lexicon and syntax of their language and English and use this variety for their own communication. Such phenomenon is observable in Thailand, where some lexicon and syntax of Thai and English is being used on signboards, and the script where the signboards is written can be in Thai or English. For example, this one, Brisat Twin Palace. This is what appears in the signboards. It uses Thai script, and the lexicon is Thai and English, while the syntax itself is Twin Palace. We assume that this phenomenon is a compromise of an expression of local identity as well as sophistication of English language. Next one, in the Legian. Also, there is a domination of English lexicon and syntax on the signboards. A combination of Indonesian and local words with English words can be observed in many signs in Legian Street. Here are some examples. And the blend of Indonesian name and English proper name here, we can assume that it represents a combination of strong identity and also spirit of modernity. So the conclusion is that there is a shift of status of English in the outer circle, as shown in Petaling, where English is seen as an equal language that is not more privileged than the national and local languages. In Cal Street, English maintains its status as the official language, as the dominant language in commercial signboards, among other things due to the internal conflict of interest in determining the national language. So English is seen as, like a solution. Meanwhile, in Malaysia, the attitude and the attitude of the speakers, as well as how the government handle it, is kind of different. We can also assume that tentatively, the Kala Street still represents the English in the outer circle. However, for Malaysia, the status needs to be revisited. Meanwhile, in expanding circle, despite the low proficiency shown by the statistics, English has been ubiquitous and seemed to be the lingua franca in both Kaosan and Legian. And the status of tourist attraction has become the driving force for the use of English to communicate with the prospective consumers. Yeah, I think that's all for this presentation. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the real seminar, in the synchronized seminar of Kolita. Thank you.